Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot and Astrology. I apologize for my voice. I've been doing a lot of talking today. This reading is, I'm doing this, well, actually it's January 26th because it's after midnight. It's funny, I felt like doing a reading, and I thought, well, I wanted to do a romance reading because I just want to do more of those. And then I thought, well, I should probably wait and do when Neptune moves into Aries. And then I looked at the date and I thought, oh, that's now. No wonder. I'm feeling it. I didn't know what I was feeling, but probably that. The last time, I'm not good with history, so I forget what the date was. When was it? 46, 64? Whenever we had the Civil War in the U.S. was the last time Neptune moved into Aries. Yeah, it's got an interesting history. Anyway, yeah. So I pulled some cards. I will do a romance reading some other night because this is an important thing. And and I will timestamp when I start doing the cards. Before I start, I just want to read this quick poem that I wrote the other day because I feel like this has something to do with Neptune and Aries energy. I think. And see if you can figure out why. I'll probably tell you why. It doesn't even have a title because I haven't put one on there yet. Here in this patch of woods between the road and the houses, I walk. The limbs are bare, the dead leaves sodden under my feet. It's soothing, but I can hear the cars 30 feet away. I stop and listen to the sounds of the birds settling down, gaze up at the nearly full moon over my head. I tune into the trees. They're asking me something. I feel one word. Why? Why are we being crowded out and paved over? Why don't people care? I do, I say. Then tell the others, the trees say. I've tried, I reply, but no one listens. I wrap my arm around the nearest tree and put my face against its rough bark. It holds me up. No animosity, no barrier. It whispers in my ear, we stand together, we fall together. Yeah. And apparently I didn't write that the other day because I do remember the moon was almost full. So apparently I've lost all sense of time. How about that? But Neptune is, rules Pisces, and where it's been for, the last 19 years or whatever. And Neptune is the collective unconscious. It's in the individual, it's imagination and dreams and fantasy, romance sometimes, and rules dancing and poetry and I think music and addictions. And it's the ocean. It's not really anything that you can put your finger on. It's the wave, not the particle. And it's moving into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, ruled by Mars, fiery and determined and pioneering and, standing up for standing up for the underdog. And, it's a very revolutionary energy, Aries. It's martial energy because it's ruled by Mars, and it's very individual. And, yeah, so I just wonder what's going to happen, especially in this country. I'm in the U.S. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. This is where you can take your dreams and make them a reality. And also, your dreams become part of your identity, and you can also get in touch with that part of yourself that is your true identity on a very unconscious level. There's an interplay between the subconscious and whatever you can dream. What I'm trying to say is whatever you can dream, you can manifest. And the reason I felt like that poem was timely is because Neptune is when it's the collective unconscious, it's really the level on which we are all one. And lately, when I look around at the things that are being done in this country, I don't want to say that. But it's true. I know it's true. We're all part of the same energy field, whatever you want to call it. There are different, what do they call them? I was reading about that, morphogenic fields. Rupert Sheldrake writes about that. There are different fields, so your energy field may not be that of your neighbors or whatever, but essentially, I mean, if you believe that, I believe that everything's just one at some level. Doesn't feel like it most of the time, but whatever. So what I did was I pulled some cards. I pulled the Wild Unknown by Kim Krans, and then, let me write down the time here, and then instead of doing shadow cards, I thought, okay, the top row is going to be the outer world, and the bottom row is going to be the inner world, and I used the Mythic Tarot by Liz Green, just in case some of the cards wanted to repeat, which one of them did. And then I drew a Wisdom of the Oracle. So the top row is the outer world. And I wasn't sure whether to do reversals, and then I thought, yeah, I think I am. Whoops, sorry, knocking into things. I forgot to turn my light up in here. Oh, well, I hope you can see. Well, you know what, that'll just take me 1 second. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Okay, it took me 5 seconds. I apologize. Okay, so top world. No, nothing wrong here. Top row is the outer world, our outer world. What can we expect? And of course, this will depend on where your planets are, if you have anything in Pisces, if you have aspects to Neptune. If you can't figure out how to do your chart, email me. It's free on astro.com. They have a wonderful setup. It's free. Okay, I'm going to show you this in the upright because it's a beautiful card. The Wheel of Fortune, which is so apropos because we are starting a brand new cycle. First degree, Neptune's at the very first degree, 0 degrees of Aries. And the wheel starts again. The wheel turns. This is just totally appropriate, except it came out in the reverse. Now remember, this is the outer world. I think all is not lost, but I think what it's saying is that, first of all, transitions are difficult because it really is a major deal here. And the outer world is, kind of wonky right now, depending on where you're living, I suppose. But I think there's, trouble in lots of places. But I think this is not only us in the transition, I think it's that feeling of things not feeling as reliable as they used to. It's kind of like it's a beautiful card, but it's kind of chaotic when you look at it this way. And we have the sun and the moon. We have an eclipse coming up on February 17th, I think, 28 degrees of Aquarius. So yeah, I think the outer world's going to feel a little bit wonky for a while. It's going to take a while for this energy to adjust. And also, Neptune and Aries, again, it's going to bring in some changes because the feeling of oneness, the feeling of what we can accomplish and what we can dream of wants to manifest in Aries. And then I get the Two of Swords. And this is, again, it's like a stalemate. It's like, okay, I can't really go left and I can't really go right. There's the eclipse again. In which direction can I go? I think it's a solar eclipse on the 17th of February. In which direction can I go? You kind of feel at cross purposes because Neptune is different from Aries energy. Aries is fire, Neptune rules Pisces, Neptune's the ocean. So it's kind of steamy. It's like, well, I want to accomplish my dreams, but, the desire is there for sure. But the path forward, maybe not quite yet. Not quite yet. And then we get the Seven of Wands, which in this deck is about, it's about being in the dark, but finding your own inner light. You've got it in the center. You're the light in the storm, sort of. But it's in reverse. And again, this is the outer row. This is the outer row. So the outer world is not going to feel very secure, stable. We're not sure which way things are going. And you're not going to be able to derive your security, I don't think, and your inner light, it's not going to come from the outer right now, because things are going to be unstable for a while. And then we get the Five of Cups, grief and disappointment. Yeah, it's going to be sad for a while. And also there's that feeling of, when Neptune moves into Aries, there's a change on an outer and an inner level. I think this is a transition card between the outer and the inner. There's something that you might have to leave behind. It could be a dream. It could be an era of your life. But this is going to bring a change I think for a lot of us. And it's kind of a sad change, Something is lost. Something's gained. We're moving into new territory where we can hopefully manifest dreams, and especially creativity and, carving new paths forward. But we have to let go of something in order to do that. Okay, bottom row is inner level, inner life, and we get the Two of Swords again. Again, we don't know. We're hearing conflicting voices. And again, Neptune and Aries are very different. You're going to have to figure out how to channel the creative energy of Neptune, that mystical oneness feeling, the romantic feeling. How do I use that? How do I make that part of me and then enact it in the world? How do I become it? But there's a feeling of being torn in two here and not knowing which way to go. So it's going to be a little tricky. It's the beginning of a cycle, which means, of course, the old one ended. Something's lost, but something's gained. Oh, I'm thinking of that song, Joni Mitchell. Is it Clouds? Yeah. Anyway, the Seven of Pentacles. So we have two sevens. This is where we stop and ask ourselves, okay, what now? Where do I put my energy? And again, this is the inner row, so this is your personal energy. What do I want to do with my life? However many years you have left, what do I want to create? I'm looking at what I've created in the past. Again, cycle ending, new one beginning. What do I want to work on? Do I want to keep working on the same thing? Or do I want to switch it up? There's a potential here. Now we get to decide. What do we want to build? And this is much appreciated, and it's right under the card of the following the inner light, which isn't there in the outer. Thank God we get it in the inner. Thank goodness we get it in the inner. We have to find our own inner strength right now, and we will. Aries is very strong. It's the warrior. It's the pioneer. It's getting in touch with our inner desires and being in control of them and making something out of them. So I'm really glad to see this. We need this. We're going to need this. But we got it. Okay, and last but not least, under the Five of Cups, we get the Queen of Cups. So there may be a sadness, something we have to let go of, but it's a very fruitful time for the imagination. It's a great time to channel your inner mystic. And if there's anything creative that you want to do, she's got the golden apple in her hand. She's in tune. She's in tune. She's in harmony. And hopefully, hopefully Neptune and Aries will help us fight for some much needed harmony in the outer. But at least we get it in the inner. So you may have to, when the outer gets too weird, you may have to, probably already doing that, you may have to, get in touch with your inner strength and your inner mystic and feelings. Hopefully they're positive. I don't know, that swirly cloud reminds me of Starry Night by Van Gogh. Okay, so an interesting time, but it looks like we're going to have some choices to make and changes to get used to, but it looks overall positive. We got some things to work with here. And then I drew one oracle card, and I got regeneration. That's good. That's good. And you know, that makes sense because we are starting a new cycle. We get the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, it's in reverse, but we're starting a new cycle, even if it feels wonky right now. We are. So we get to be reborn. And as I said, when Neptune's in Aries, Aries is always your self-identity. It's also what you do with your energy, but it's about who you are and hopefully enacting that in the world and contributing. You know, if you do what's right for you, then you're doing what's right for everyone. So maybe starting something over, starting something new. I think that looks good. Not always easy, but anyway, so I just felt like doing a pick a deck, but I'll do that some other night. So I'm glad I noticed what day it was. Anyway, that's enough for now, probably. Please leave me a comment and hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I'll leave my email if you need help finding your birth chart on astro.com. That's free to do. And I will talk to you later. Blessings, everyone. Good night.